Imagine you're asleep in a wooden hut. The year is 793. The North Sea winds howl outside. Suddenly, bells ring, shouts rise in the night. And then, fire. You run outside and see strangers pouring onto the shore. Tall men with axes, shields glinting in the moonlight. They don't speak your tongue. They don't want to trade. They want blood. This is the first recorded Viking raid on England. And it's only the beginning. The target? A quiet monastery on Lindisfarne. For centuries, monks lived here in peace, copying manuscripts, praying and farming. But in a single night, their world is destroyed. The Vikings show no mercy. They kill, they steal, they burn. To the English, this is more than an attack. It feels like the wrath of God. And yet, this is just the spark. For decades, Viking ships, sleek, shallow-drafted longships, slice across the North Sea. They can sail rivers as easily as oceans, striking deep inland. Towns wake up to find warriors storming their walls, monasteries plundered, silver and gold hauled away. No warning, no defense, just terror. Why England? The answer is simple: wealth. Monasteries hold treasure, coastal towns thrive on trade, and England, fractured into smaller kingdoms, is too divided to mount a unified defense. By the 9th century, raids turn into invasions. The Vikings aren't just looting anymore. They want land. They bring families. They build settlements. They carve out territory. And soon, the words Danelaw, land ruled by the Danes, will enter the English tongue. Picture England at this time. It isn't one nation. It's a patchwork. Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria, East Anglia, each ruled by its own king, each vulnerable. And when the great heathen army lands in 865, tens of thousands of Viking warriors march inland. They topple kingdoms one by one. East Anglia falls, Northumbria falls. Mercia bends the knee. Only one kingdom stands defiant: Wessex. At its head, a young king named Alfred. History will call him Alfred the Great. But in this moment, he's fighting for survival. Alfred faces defeat after defeat. At one point, he flees into the marshes, living in hiding. The dream of a united English kingdom seems lost. But Alfred refuses to surrender. He regroups, he trains his men, he builds fortified towns, burhs across Wessex. These become safe havens, places Viking raiders can't easily storm. He reorganizes his army, creating a system of rotating service so men can fight while others farm. He even builds a fleet of ships to challenge the Vikings at sea. And then comes the turning point, the Battle of Edington in 878. Alfred rallies his forces against the Viking leader Guthrum. The clash is brutal. Shields splinter, swords flash, but Alfred wins. Guthrum is forced to accept baptism and retreat east. For now, Wessex is safe. But the Viking threat never truly vanishes. Throughout the 9th and 10th centuries, waves of Norse warriors pour into England. Some settle peacefully, marrying into English families, farming the land, blending cultures. Others raid with fire and steel. Towns like York become Viking strongholds. Norse lore, Norse language, Norse gods leave their mark. Even today, words like sky, knife, and egg trace back to the Vikings. The struggle between Saxons and Vikings becomes the defining story of medieval England. Kings rise and fall on their ability to withstand the Northmen. Alfred's descendants expand Wessex's power, slowly pushing back the Danelaw. For a brief moment, under King Ethelstan, England becomes a single united kingdom. But the Vikings are not finished. In the late 10th century, new invasions crash upon England's shores. This time, they're larger, fiercer, led by ambitious kings like Sweyn Forkbeard of Denmark and his son Cnut. By 1016, England itself falls under Viking rule. King Cnut sits on the English throne, ruling a North Sea empire that stretches across Denmark, Norway, and England. Imagine that, a Viking king ruling the English people, collecting their taxes, passing their laws. For a generation, the Norse are not just raiders or settlers, they are kings. Cnut's reign brings stability. Trade flourishes. The North Sea becomes the heart of a vast empire. But after his death, the Viking grip weakens. English kings regain control. By 1066, when William the Conqueror sails from Normandy, the Viking Age is fading, but its shadow lingers. Think about the legacy. Place names across northern England still bear Norse roots, towns ending in by or thorpe. English law absorbed Viking customs, language blended, and the myth of the Viking raider, fierce, unstoppable, storming ashore in dragon-proud ships, still captivates us today. But for the people who lived through it, this was not myth. This was terror. Imagine being a farmer in Northumbria, hearing the sound of horns at dawn, knowing warriors were coming. Imagine being a monk in a quiet abbey, watching your world burn. Imagine being Alfred, hiding in the marshes, wondering if your kingdom was lost forever. The Viking invasion of England was not just about battles, it was about transformation. It reshaped kingdoms, it reshaped culture, it forged the beginnings of the English nation, and it proved that from chaos, new worlds are born. So picture yourself there, the sea mist rolling in, the ground trembling under marching feet, the clash of shield walls echoing across the hills. Would you fight? Would you flee? Or would you carve your destiny, like the Vikings did, on the edge of a blade?